This is the Can We Talk podcast, episode 22. Brittany had to work late, so she's not in the building today. But I do have Raven Brown.
What up, y'all?
Oh, that's what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. The crate challenge thing. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people, yo?
Listen, they just want to be in the Olympics so bad, and yeah, no. Okay, unless y'all want a broken ankle. Me, I highly tell y'all to. I'm gonna tell y'all not to do that. But Austin has a whole new challenge coming up tomorrow. Don't go to it. I mean, you can go to it and laugh, but don't
do it. Don't do it. Don't not just not go to it. Like, don't do it, because I know for a fact if I drive to Soka Park, whenever the date is, there's going to be motherfuckers with crates all over the fucking place, and I'm not with it.
Something pulled my hair. Like,
nothing pulled your hair.
It was this little look at this.
That's your fault for leaning back. Focus on the mic.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so short little story that has to do with crates. So whenever I was little, and y'all know I grew up on the farm, me and my sister, we used to put stack two crates, right? And then we would put like a thick plank on those two crates. Like, there'll be two on each side, so it's essentially 4 crates. We used to think that we were in the freaking gymnastics and flip off that shit.
That sounds way more safe than what these people are doing.
I know. It was safe because, honey, whenever I was like flipping over there, I could have been Simone Biles. Could have been in the Olympics. Just kidding. It's just because we didn't have a TV. But yeah, don't do that. But I know that there's a actual competition. When I first seen the flyer, I thought it was just like a fake. What is it? I thought it was a fake post, but it's not. People are actually doing this.
Your friend Cece is funny because
she posted it.
She posted this, and it's getting like mad shares. So she went and put her music video on it.
Cece, did you create this file? Is this
No, she didn't create it, but what she's capitalizing on how many people are sharing shit. She's at 1K shares for this crate challenge, this Austin crate challenge. Climbers must be 18 years or older to sign a safety release waiver. Medical
Good
staff
promotion.
on site.
I'm about to put our podcast link under there.
Do it.
I'm gonna do it. But yeah, if you're gonna be doing the crate challenge, please be careful. Like,
no. Don't be careful.
People are gonna do it anyway, though.
That's not the truth. You don't have to do it.
You don't have to do it, but people are gonna do it anyway.
Don't do it safely. Don't do it at all.
Another thing is they don't really have room for you in the hospitals because of COVID. So just don't do it at all.
What meme did I see? It was like, damn, they tried to get us with COVID, and then COVID had to change variants. Now they said, fuck it, release the crates.
Y'all would just do anything except for sit down. Someone actually died from the crate
I'm sure
challenge.
multiple people have died, but people didn't post it. But it was at a gas station. From when I saw one that was at a gas station, and Shorty was doing the crate challenge, and just dudes around her taking photos and videos, and people. That's how bad people want fame.
Someone literally, I saw a video where someone literally kicked the crate in the middle when they were walking, and then they fell on their back. Like, I don't know what y'all are thinking. These injuries are serious. Like, this freaking ankle was a pain in my motherfucking ass. So, I mean, maybe I should do a boot rental. If y'all want to rent my boot for the day, for the month, because you're going to need it after you fall off that damn crate. So, just don't do it.
Literally don't do it. Like, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. It like imagine being 40 and the crates take you out. Like, that's how you go. Like, you've made it to 40 years, you made it to 30 years, and you decide to walk on some crates. I would prefer wooden crates, honestly. I feel like wooden crates would be safer.
Y'all want to be Casper so bad.
Yeah, I want to do something so bad, and it's a fame thing. People going viral and doing that's important to them, to the point that they think they're stuck and solidified forever. That's not technically how being viral works. That's not how that works. Just because you're viral for the moment.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You're gonna be viral for literally 10 seconds, and no one's gonna remember you or anything but other than that guy who fell off the crates. And then about a couple of months are gonna pass by, and then
a couple of days actually. You did all that for 3 days and 2 million views.
Okay.
They didn't pay you a dime.
All right. Speaking of Casper and ghosting and stuff, so question for you: do you think ghosting is a form of emotional manipulation?
In the sense of what?
Just like if
leaving, like walking out.
If someone ghosts you, like say someone ghosts you, right?
I've never been ghosted before. I don't know what that feels like.
Oh, you do the
I do mad ghosts.
You do the ghosting. So why do you go? Why do you ghost people?
Because I don't. The person I was telling you about, they just added me on Facebook after deleting the original Facebook. I straight up ghosted. And the thing is, I wanted to ghost really early, but some things kept me from doing that. But once I was ready, like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just cool on it.
My thing, like, I guess there's been situations where, like, I wouldn't say that I've done it for emotional manipulation, but I know people who've done it to me for emotional manipulation, which made me feel shitty. But, like, for me, like, I do it for my own self because I don't want to continue with the toxicity that goes along with that person.
Is that what that post is meaning in ghosting? Or are we just talking about regular relationships?
I'm just talking about whether it's a friendship, relationship, or any kind of ship or shit. I'm really going to make some shirts that says relationships. But like, and then it's going to have 2 poops, like holding hands.
Yikes.
Don't take my idea. It's patent. Just kidding. But anyways, no, just like any kind of relationship. It could be with a family member. It could be with a friend. It could be with your significant other. Like, do you think it's like when you're ghosting someone, was it for the emotional manipulation? Because I mean, I don't think it would be, because I don't think you manipulate people. But like,
who came up with that term?
Manipulation?
No, the emotional thing, and like putting them together.
I got it from Instagram. If you follow Spiritual Word, they also have like different posts where you can just comment on, you can read other people's opinion. And this is one of them. Do you think ghosting is for emotional manipulation? And it doesn't say who or what. So I just figure it could be for any kind of type of relationship.
I mean, emotionally, like ghosting someone for emotional purposes. I think that's a thing in relationships. I don't think that goes for family. Because if you're doing that to get the attention of someone. So if you ghost them for a reason, like if you ghost them, I'll give this example. So if you ghost somebody in a relationship, or even if you guys are just talking, you're doing that to get attention. Like I don't see the correlation between family.
Well, I mean, I guess like in the beginning, like when I first had my accident, and then me and my brother, one of my brothers I have 2 brothers. So me and my brother, we were having some issues. And I told him, I was like, I'm blocking you. I was blocking him because he was saying some shit that just was not relevant to my life. It was just very toxic. So I blocked him. And he like blocked me right back. And he was like, I'm blocking you back. And I feel like his was just to block me because I blocked him. That just made me feel some type of way. But again, I did block him. But I only blocked him because he was just like, I just didn't want anyone to destroy my peace. Where I think he was just blocking me just because I blocked him. So I don't know. Like, I mean, like with family, I think sometimes like some of your family, not my family, but some families can be manipulative. Like I've heard some of my friends talk about like their family and just how they can be manipulated. How they, okay. I'll also put that on a shirt too. How they can be manipulative too. So I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm kind of lost.
Wait, what are you lost about? Like the ghosting part?
Yeah, I thought you were like, I thought it was gonna be like a simple thing of like ghosting someone, like just not fucking with them no more.
No, but on the post it was just saying, couldn't it be emotional? It's ghosting.
So it's asking the question.
It's basically saying, yeah, I think it is asking the question. it's asking the question, do you think ghosting is a form of emotional manipulation? So like general, like ghosting, like do you agree with it being a form of emotional manipulation or something different?
I don't agree, and I feel like it's something different. I don't think it is.
But do you think it can be for some people though?
I'm not some people. I don't know.
I think it is because I've experienced it from the name we don't speak of.
347 times he's been brought up.
Okay, he has not been brought up, but like he's gonna have to.
He's been brought up.
Okay, but like the past.
You say he.
The past, I mean, like it's gonna come up because whenever you're healing and stuff like that, you have to go through that trauma and just think how it's healing you and helping you. And like a lot of the stuff that I've went through with that person, it's the reason why like a lot of the stuff is that I'm going through right now that I'm healing from. So even though I don't want to speak of his name, he does have a lot to do with like my he doesn't have a lot to, I was going to say he has a lot to do with my growth. You don't have a lot to do with my growth. I have a lot to do with my growth. But
200,447th time he's been addressed.
No. Don't say it. I could be talking about somebody else. We have a track record.
Well, I'm gonna
I could be talking about Charlie.
I'm gonna cut every episode of every podcast, and I'm just gonna put your part in talking about this individual, and it's gonna last for a good 30 minutes.
Well, would you rather be talking about the girl
that fell asleep on my couch?
Yes.
It's a cold world out here.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Speaking of relationships.
Besides cheating and lying, what things kill relationships? Sleeping on my couch.
I think whenever you don't have that... Remember, I don't know if y'all have listened to the podcast from last week's episode 21. We addressed... what do you bring to the table? So I think like that, like if you left out the in-depth stuff, like the depth stuff, like the emotional stuff, it could really kill a relationship.
Like what?
Like someone not being able to listen to you, not really validating your emotions, not being honest with you, communicating, all that stuff that's just, besides like finances and stuff. But I think that can kill a relationship.
Well, to answer the question, of course, there are other things in lying and cheating that affect a relationship. Because that's not all it is. And even lying and cheating in a relationship doesn't kill the relationship. I think that it's important to be yourself in relationships from day one. So there's no surprises. Like I'm me. Like I can't.
But I love surprises.
That's what kills relationships is surprises. Like for me, like I'm just myself. Like I think I had a conversation with someone maybe a couple of days ago, and they were like, "You don't change, not in a bad way. Like I've adapted to who I am today, but like the message I was saying 5-6 years ago." I'm still saying the same message. Like I haven't changed in that aspect, and I think that in relationships, it's important just to be yourself. Yeah. I think a lot of people try to act a certain way for a long time, and then when it finally gets to that point, you're like, "Damn, this really it ain't even me." You fell in love, or you liked someone that wasn't you.
True.
But me, like if you like me from day one, you're gonna like me from day 20. Like you're gonna fuck with me for a long time, only because like I'm gonna act the exact same. Like I'm always going to be Calvin. Like I'm always stuck on go. Like whether you liked it or not, that's up to you. I have no control over that. But
you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
I like that because you're gonna get Cal. You're gonna get me. But there's a number of things, right? Just lack of communication. I'll even tell a story. There was literally a lack of communication. Particular person that's in this room. Something I said, she took way more serious than I took it. And then when we actually talked about it, it turns out it was really not that serious. Like it really wasn't that big of a deal, but wording is everything as well. I'll work on that maybe.
It is like even like me and the person that I'm just like talking to right now, like he was like, I don't even know if this probably relates to anything, but like, but he was talking, like he's been saying like ride the wave, like ride the wave, and me thinking ride the wave in my head is just like, you know, going with the flow. Doesn't that sound like going with the flow, right?
No, waves are very, really different. A flow is like quiet and calm. Waves are like you gotta go up and down. You gotta go up and down, up and down, up and down.
Oh, okay. And he was like, it's more to do with the stress and emotions. Like
up and down.
Just be simple. And I'm just like, me thinking this whole time, like,
Raven looking into the camera like the whole time.
And I mean, like we had a conversation, like we had a little, like we don't argue, we don't really fight or anything like that.
I think that's a weird dynamic too. Not arguing is a dynamic that we'll talk about after.
Yeah, well, we just have a good communicate. I mean, it's not that we don't argue or anything. Like we don't talk, we don't address anything. It's not all happy go lucky. But like, if something is bothering me, I'm going to address it and just be like this is bothering me, and I'm gonna communicate with him what's bothering me, because it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't communicate what's bothering me. Just like if something is bothering him, like he communicates with me. So it's more of a back and forth communication where we can just sit down and actually talk about it. And then like if we can't talk about it at that moment, I'll just be like, okay, like I just want to address it some other time, you know. But like literally, I thought. I don't know why in my head I got like we're taking our time, which we are. Don't get me wrong, we are taking our time. I don't know
why in my head I got this.
I don't know. Like I think I was thinking more in depth about things instead of just like, you know. I feel like men are just more like simple with things, like when it comes to like thinking thoughts and stuff like that, and women are just like like all things are just like in their head, like 50 million things are just mean one thing to them. I don't know, but. But anyways, long story short, like we were talking with each other, and I was like telling him that and it's part of my love language. So I did ask him earlier in the week, like what was his love language, because I just kind of wanted to understand him better. So he told me his love language, and he was like, I actually talked about this with like one of my friends, and he was like, what are yours? Why did I have a whole list of all of them?
I mean, the love languages every single person has.
Yeah.
All 5.
But I listed them. I was like, this is all mine. And he was just like laughing. Okay. But I do, like, I was thinking about it. I was really reading into it. I was just like, man. And I remember one episode we did have, like, we did talk about our love language. But, like, I was really reading into it because I want to be able for us to understand each other a lot better. But, so I was asking him what his love language is. And then my top one was words of affirmation, and I think that's what it is, like words of affirmation, right? So I was telling him that was my top one, and our whole conversation, the reason why we got to like the wave portion was I was trying to tell him that I needed him to validate kind of where he saw us going into the future, you know, if he saw a future with me, instead of like me, like
I wouldn't even answer that question. Like me personally.
Why?
Like, because I don't know.
I mean, like for me, I feel like I have a clear conscience of like where I want to see this relationship go.
Yeah, that's usually different from men. We don't know. And that can be okay too. Like as far as like what it's gonna equal.
I'm just kidding.
Like I wouldn't even answer that question. Questions that are asked to me of things like that, I'm not gonna answer, because if I answer and I tell you the truth, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna feel that way.
Yeah.
Like I'm honest to the point where it's just like.
Well, he did tell me, he was like, he did tell me, he's like, I don't know, like I'm just
men don't know.
He's like, I'm just taking it day by day, and I'm just like, I've already planned our whole, like me being a Pisces, I've already planned our whole wedding out in my head on Pinterest. Hopefully he's not listening to this, but I planned my whole life out, like literally from like start to finish. Whenever I meet someone, whether it's a friend or something, I'm like, okay, like this is gonna be our friendship, we're gonna be good, you know, even though like, you know, things don't happen that way. So I mean, I can see where he was coming from. And like after I was like upset, like I literally was bawling my, like he was like, I was like, I need some sleep, you know. So I went to sleep because I'm always in my head. And then like I really just like thought about it. I'm just like, you know what he told me was like, like he doesn't need any validation to know how he feels about me. You know, he says, of course he can't tell me like if he sees a future or anything like that. Like he does, like he know, but he's just taking things day by day. You know, he's just trying to like just go with the flow and take things day by day. So I'm just thinking like in my head, I'm just like, well, you know, like kind of like upset with him. And then I started like thinking about what he actually said, you know. And normally for me,
y'all usually don't do that like early. Like y'all have to take time to like walk away, which is crazy to me.
But normally for me, I just jump into a relationship, so it's easy for me to be like, oh, I see this, this, and this with you. But with him, it's like it's kind of like it's,
and that's just based off of experience, right? Like it's a relationship experience. Like a lot of people aren't experienced enough in relationships to. So I always tell people, anyone who asks me or I have a conversation with about relationships, right? Mm-hmm. I equate it to anything you do in life, right? Yeah. You're not a pro, but you've done it a couple times. Relationships are the same thing. Like if you haven't had many relationships that are meaningful, mm-hmm. you're going to use that same expectation of like the bad shit. So you don't know, you're not the expert of relationships. And a lot of women come into relationships as the expert and they've only been in 2 relationships in their whole life.
I think once, if you weren't this for me personally, if you weren't the one causing the most trouble in the relationship, I feel like you gain a sense of thinking that like you were, like you kind of know what you're doing. But whenever you actually get to someone who, you know, is kind of on the same level head as you, but like you're kind of learning from each other, then it kind of changes kind of like the dynamic of things. Does that make sense?
No, because it makes sense in a sense of like someone who, because I mean I don't know.
I'm just trying to say I don't know everything. Where in the past relationships, like I felt like okay, like I'm doing this right because like
that's what I was meaning. That's what I was saying. Like it in a sense of like someone who's not been in multiple relationships, mm-hmm. you can kind of confuse yourself of what it looks like or what it should look like, and then when you do that, you try to mold the relationship into that ideal versus what it really truly is. And a lot of times if you're experienced relationships and you've been in, you know, X amount of relationships, like you get to the point where you're like, okay, I know what my structure looks like, and then now I can kind of like ask them what their structure is versus mm-hmm. like a person who's not really equipped in relationships and they sit there and they expect things.
True.
And an expectation versus a realization is 2 different things.
Yeah. And the next morning after like we had that conversation at night, like I kind of ended it and I was like, good night, whatever. And we're like, good night. I mean, we weren't like we talked he called me because he was like, what, you're in your head again? I was like, no, I'm not in my head. Like me in here whatever. He probably thinks I'm a psychopath. I don't know. But anyways, after I got off the phone with him, you know, I kind of explained. I was like, maybe I need some days to myself to kind of like think and process things. It didn't take me that long. Like I literally got out of bed and I was like, Raven, like, can you just like stop? Like, what are you doing? Like, talk to myself. Like, I talk to myself. Okay, we have great conversations. Like this girl is lit. But I was talking to myself. I'm like, what are you doing? Like you're going against what you're saying. Like have faith in things. Like literally have faith. Like trust the process, have faith. You know, you don't really need to do too much into a lot of things. You know, things will happen for a reason, like in the right timing. So I was even laughing at myself. Are you like, he probably thinks you're nuts, you're crazy. Like just go to bed, like sleep on it. So that's what I did. And the next morning I felt so much better. And he actually like messaged me. He was like, good morning, you know, and like, I'm not used for someone like after the argument or it wasn't even an argument, but like it was a disagreement between us. That's what I'm gonna say, because we weren't arguing or anything with each other. But like he messaged me the next day, and I'm not used to someone like after like we were arguing in a relationship for them to like actually reach out to me. I'm used to them ghosting me.
That's what I'm saying as far as relationships go, right? Yeah. You know,
the expectation
of what is going to happen next, and for me, it's just I don't really react quickly. Mm-hmm. Like I let things sit. You know, someone in this room.
I think you better stop. She gonna throw something else at you, and I'm gonna throw something else too.
I mean, it is very understandable, right? Relationships are experience. Like a relationship is a job, technically.
Yeah.
right? And if you don't have experience in jobs and you're doing the same, you're going to go apply for a job and you're going to do the job and you don't have experience within the job, you're going to be green. Like the things that were in your toxic background, the things that just didn't work for you are going to become your go-to. Like that's your notes. That's exactly what you know. So you're going to refer and you're going to compare. And that's not what you should do with new relationships.
True.
Every new person you come in contact with, you should treat as if they're a new person.
True.
Versus using what you know in those moments, to move forward.
So so after that, the next morning, it had me thinking. Like after I had the little pep talk with myself, and I was just like in the mirror, like, what are you doing? Like I look like a crazy person. If you would have seen me, my hair was like looking like Frederick Douglass, no lie. And I'm just like
the gray and all.
Yeah, everything. I'm like, what are you doing, Raven? Like, I'm pretty sure my brother, his room is like right next to mine. I'm pretty sure he was probably like, what in the hell is what is wrong with her? He probably thinks I'm crazy because this morning he bought me a breakfast taco and he was really nice. He probably thinks I'm psych from Don's Barbecue.
Where's that at?
Off of 969. Off of 969. They have good ribs. They have pretty good food. I used to eat there every other day when I lived over there. That's where my farm is. Now, don't be going over there trying to find my farm, okay? It is not for y'all to find. But anyways, he brought me a breakfast taco, so I know he thinks I'm crazy. But anyway, so the next, I know I have ADHD.
Everyone has ADHD, I feel like.
So he had messaged me in the morning. He was like, good morning, we actually had a great conversation. He calls me. And I was like, we were talking. And I was like, hey, I just kind of I didn't really want to bring it up, but I needed to apologize to him. So I was like, hey, I'm really sorry about, last night. He's like, no, you don't have to apologize. I said, no, I do. I said, because I'm literally expecting this and this from you, and I should not be expecting. I shouldn't have expectations. And I said, you're right. I don't need validation for me to know like what I want and how I feel about you, because like you don't give me any other like reason to believe that you want something different. So I should just trust the process and trust you. And he was like, yes. He was like, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And it was hard for me to say that. And I was like, I even told him, I said, it is hard for me to say this. I was wrong.
It's not even about being wrong. It's about knowing that it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah.
Honestly, look, any conflict I have in any kind of relationship, I don't expect an apology. Like, I get it. Like, you don't come across certain types of people often. And I don't want to shit on people for that, because I know what it can look like if it was something else. Like I talked about last episode, this podcast doesn't exist in my previous relationship. It doesn't exist because of just how much stress and pressure that person put on me to not, that's why right now, I'm so let me just fuck with people. Let me just talk to people I know, because that relationship was nah, you can't talk to females. You shouldn't talk to females. Stuff like that, and that put me down. I was a whole different shell. I was a shell of myself for a long time.
And it's I feel like even if you're in a relationship with someone and they're literally holding you back from the things that you love, different opportunities, that is not the person you need to be with.
Absolutely.
If you're with the person who is making you flourish and you're learning from them, and I don't mean just simple things, but you're actually learning things about not only yourself, but you're growing within the relationship. Sure. You're growing not with them. Yes, you're growing with them, but you're growing as an individual with them. I think you should definitely look into that relationship and actually,
and it's hard while you're in it. It's difficult while you're in it, but the moral of the story definitely is just take your time, relax. Nothing has to be as quick as people expect it to be.
True.
And that's why I'm not anti social media, clearly, but I just think that people should just learn and move forward. Instead of assuming things and taking steps based off of what they assumed. If people feel how they feel, whatever the case may be, but taking steps to ensure yourself you feel better is wild to me now. You just have to accept what's going on, be yourself, and accept what comes with that. Like, a lot of people are scared to be themselves in front of people. True. Because of whatever reaction, whatever this and this, but like, just be yourself, like, a lot of times.
Honestly, I was scared to kind of address it with him because I didn't know the outcome of things.
That's what I'm saying. Just be yourself. Just literally just be yourself. Mm-hmm. And even in those moments, you don't have to apologizing is wild to me. Like, you don't apologize. Just tell me why and what you felt. You know what I mean? Like, just tell me. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to do anything extra. Just talk to me. Communication is key. Mm-hmm. And the way people think communication actually works is like sitting down for three hours a day and having that conversation. That's not how it works. No. Communication is very key, and it's very short, and it's very simple.
Yeah.
A lot of times, true communication is like, yo.
He's a really good communicator. Like I think, like, you're really good at communicating. Brittany's really good at communicating. Robin's really good at communicating. And like, sometimes, like, when you have people who are not so good at communicating, a lot of the things get like I don't know what I'm trying to say. A lot of things get lost of how how simple communication can be when you're dealing with difficult people who just don't know how to communicate. And also, like, a lot of people have different styles of communicating. Like, with me, like, I could probably just, like, I've learned from him. I've learned from you. I've learned from,
me first.
True. I just was listening that, like, you have to be, like, being patient. I am. Get out of here. Okay. We're just going to continue the podcast with Raven. Camera zooms in. No, but, like, Raven is not a patient. I learned that. I thought I was a patient person. I am not a patient person. And I'm learning that from him, to have patience. So a lot of the things, like I mentioned last week, what I was going through, having to have that patient.
She tried it. Go.
I had to, y'all. So I had to learn that. Okay, I don't know. I was doing High School Musical over here. Do y'all remember that Sharpay? Okay, maybe y'all don't. Okay. Look, Zac Efron, you still have my 13-year-old heart. Okay, I'm still mad at Vanessa Hudgens. Yikes. Anyways, just kidding. I like them both, but deep down inside, like, Zac Efron, he had my heart. But yeah, I'm learning how to be patient. He's kind of taught me that, even though it's like a simple thing, it's hard. It's hard to be patient with people who are just unbelievable. But I forgot what I was saying. I'm thrown off by the laughing.
But it's important as well. If this is the first time you're coming across that, but like, it's still important for you to understand, like, that is still in multiple people.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times I see, I don't see, I have conversations with people that see something for the first time, and then that is what, I don't know if I can explain that correctly, but, like, they are experiencing this is for the first. They're experiencing what they've wanted for a long time for the first time, and they expect that to be the perfect thing. And what ends up happening is, a lot of times is they stick to that. And when things get bad, or if a person changes slightly and they become a little more whatever, they stick with that person because they don't think they can get that ever again. But I want to make sure that people understand and know, like, the best version of a person is in multiple people.
Yeah. And
you have to understand that, as a grand scheme kind of thing. Like, it's great that, you're experiencing this, but you also need to understand that the same greatness is in multiple people. So the second of it not working the way you expect it to, or you feel it to be, don't tolerate it.
True. And also, I don't know if this relates, but there's also multiple ways to handle things too, and multiple ways to what's the word? Just there's multiple ways to handle certain situations. So, like, your way, which I'm talking about me, Raven. Hello, Raven. Your way is not the only way. So, absolutely. Like, even though, like, in the past, like, I take accountability for it. Like, I was, like, always, like, my way. It's been my way is the best way, because at the time I think it was the best way, because how that person was. I ain't mentioned nobody's name, so don't even count nobody. Don't
200, 447 million.
Wait, I didn't say a name. I did not say a name. I said this just happened in the past. But like, yeah, like Raven, your way is not the only way. Like, listener, your way is not the only way. Like, you have to be, like, if you're in a new relationship or if you're in the same relationship and you're just like, there's things are going wrong, you have to be willing and open to, like, hearing that other person out and seeing, like, you know, how they deal with things and, like, how you deal with things and, like, maybe just come into a good, solid understanding. Because, you know, one way is not the best. I mean, one way is not the only way. So I'm learning that as well. But there was a question I had. I don't know. Wait. It's relatable.
Well, as you pull that up, I do want to say this as well. As far as like relationships go, I lost my thought, so keep on. I definitely lost my thought. Yeah, go.
Let's call it brain fart.
I was like, yeah.
Why is that word fart so weird? But I like it. It just rolls off the tongue so well. Fart. Okay, let me stop. I'm a weirdo. These are the things that go in my head. Like, I don't know. Okay, Raven, shut up. What have you done to prepare yourself for your next current relationship? Or have you even prepared anything? Have you done anything differently? Or like, have you like, okay, this is what I want to do for my next relationship? Or like this is what I want to do for my current relationship? Like, have you prepared yourself for anything?
So that actually like that, you saying that ties back into what I was thinking when I didn't know what I was talking about. So we have as an age group, as a mindset, as an ideal, have taken love languages in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. And how that ties in with that is like, love languages are all about wants. Right? It's my love language is this. This is what I want. You know, so that's not really like a conclusive conversation to truly have with someone if you don't really understand what those are. So you can ask me what my love language is, but it doesn't provide you a solution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ask the question again, because it really tied into what I was saying. Like, it really did.
So what have you done to prepare yourself for the next current relationship?
Okay, so yeah, so it ties in because like a lot of people who learn about love languages, that's now their go-to question when it starts off in relationships. They're always like, what's your love language? What is this? As if knowing that truly really will make the relationship pop. But if you really are doing the work with a relationship, you're going to figure that out anyways by itself. So you're really kind of, love language is kind of like a cheat sheet for relationships. Yeah. And it's not really diving into truly why. So if I can say, if I say my love language is physical touch, why? Like, why is it?
I'm going to test this theory tonight.
like, why is your love language physical touch? And then whatever the case may be, it's like, so my love language that is for sure certain number one is quality time.
Wait, can I read out the love languages?
Yeah.
I have them saved on my phone because I sent it.
Because it asked.
That way y'all can probably like, people are like, what are love languages?
Absolutely. And shout out to Sierra who brought me
love you, Sierra.
The information about love language. She definitely broke it down at a high level. So
Sierra, you're such a beautiful person. And if you have not checked out her book, it's on Amazon.
She was so excited when she saw the book up here.
Yes, it's on. I actually was reading some of her. Like, I bought the book, so sometimes I'll read. Like, I'll do like every once a week. I'll read something, either from the Bible or I'll read it from this other book that I have, or like I'll read it from like her book. So I read one of her poems from her book. I can't remember what it's called, but once just get the book. Yes,
it's on Amazon right now.
Yes. It's on Amazon. All right. So your love languages, words of affirmation, and the description, it says you love to receive compliments, validation from your partner. Acts of service. Remember we were like, acts of service is this.
And like, I just like doing things for him. I'm like, that's not what acts of service means. Yeah. That's for you.
Surprise date nights. Your idea of a perfect end to a long week. So you like the surprise, like you like to be surprised, right? Okay.
Hold on. No, not me.
No. Right? No, I'm just saying like.
It's like not me.
No. Like I'm just saying like that's what it means. Like you, like as a you, like me, like I like to be surprised. Like
acts of service.
Yeah.
Acts of service are doing things that make you feel good. So if it's washing dishes,
so it's for the other person. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like like I like to
so
clean his car.
Acts of service are
you doing something for the other person. Mm-hmm. Okay. Receiving gifts, whether it's a simple handwritten letter, a bouquet of flowers, or new necklace, you love to receive gifts and give them to. Me too. I love little cupcakes and stuff. So, if you're listening, okay. Quality time. You value the little things in your relationship, like distraction-free hangouts with your significant other. I love that one too.
That's my number one.
I love quality time. Like we don't even have to be in the room, but I just want to be in the presence with you. You know, we don't even have to be in the same room. I know that's probably not quality time, but like sometimes I like my space. So anyways, but no, it's probably with old relationships that I love my space too.
Wake up.
All right. So, physical touch. You feel the most love when you're physically close to the partner, such as hugging, kissing, or cuddling. He actually said that I'm kind of clingy, which I did not realize that I was clingy because before I was never clingy. I was never affectionate. I've learned to be this way. But he was like, you're like, I was like, not me being a Cleon. And if you don't know what Star Trek is, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Go watch Star Trek. It's on Netflix. The old version with Captain Kirk and Spock. But yeah, those are the 5 love languages. I know it took me 10 million years to just even say it, but I just kind of wanted to explain it to everybody just in case y'all didn't understand. Because when we first mentioned it, I really didn't understand. Like I had it confused. So yeah.
I just think that like love languages are now becoming just like a random norm. Like back in the day, back in the 2 years ago, year and a half ago, like finding someone's love language was like the cherry on top of the cake. Now people are using that as the base, and that's not how I felt that love languages should be used. Like I really just feel like that's something that you should add on the top of the cake and not really the bottom. Like people are basing their relationships off of that. That's a day one question when it really should be a day whatever, like past the day one question, in my opinion. And a lot of people are using that, so I don't think that's even the measure anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you should kind of figure out, like, as time goes by, like, kind of what that person likes. Which I kind of, whenever he told me, like, his love language, one of his love language was, like, receiving gifts. And I can already tell you, because he's talked about it previously. Not that we've never addressed the love languages until, last night. Or the night before. I can't remember. I don't know when my days are. Like, I'm just like, one big blob. I don't even, today's my brother's birthday. Shout out to Brandon. I know you ain't talking to me, but happy birthday and I love you.
Shout out to Brandon.
Yeah, happy birthday. I really do wish you blessings this year.
Just this year?
No.
This one?
Continued blessings. I do. But before we even talked about love languages, like he would tell me, this is all about listening to your partner. He was like, I really love, he's like, if I'm shopping online and I see something and I'm buying stuff for myself, like if he's like, say if like we're like, we're together, I'm gonna let you pick out like some shoes, like, and like if you don't want shoes, like the amount of my shoes that I'm buying for myself, you can pick out multiple things, which I'd probably pick out multiple things because I'm a cheapo and I don't really care for sneakers or Jordans, but now I'm kind of getting into the tennis shoe trend. But anyways, I would pick out, like, basically saying he like to pick out something that I would like that's an equal price, because he would want me to feel special too. So that's kind of how I realized, like, one of his acts of service was not acts of service, gift giving. Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, one of his love languages was gift giving. Yeah. And then he said acts of service. I don't remember. I can't remember. But I can also see that one too, because he likes to do stuff for, like, his friends. He loves to do stuff for his son. He loves to do stuff for, like, just he'll love to wash dishes and stuff, and like
no one
that's
loves to wash dishes.
I know, but I don't like to wash dishes. Like that is a work. Like I would do anything. Listen, I would climb on the roof and put the new shingles on, like instead of washing the freaking dishes. Like that is the worst chore in the world. But like he loves, like that's one of his other love languages. I think he said active services too. So
I feel like everyone has all five.
Yeah.
But once again, like, I just feel like that's being used too early within conversations. Not saying that it can't be used early, but I think that you should be able to, if you are someone who studies the five languages, you should probably be able to, understand what that looks like for your relationship.
And I think it's kind of fun when you're like first in a relationship and you kind of discover these things rather often just be like, what is it? What is it? Let me know. But just getting to know that person, because that's honestly, that's what I've been liking most about kind of like this slow momentum, as we are friends, because we're not, I mean, yes, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. So as we're getting to know each other, it's nice to for
Robin,
him to,
what's your love languages?
Yeah.
Can I guess? Okay. So
I'm trying to hand you the microphone. She's like,
come on the mic. You don't have to be, well, you're going to be on the camera, but come on the side.
This side?
Mm-hmm.
Why? First one?
No. Just pull, you don't have to be on camera, but, just pull the mic, use your hand. Pull it. You can pick it up.
sorry, it was wet from the QC.
So, my question to her was no, it's off. So,
Sorry. You want it back? I'm very uncomfortable right now.
so love languages. What is yours? And let me see if I can guess yours. So let me guess your number one. I think your number one is quality time.
Mm-hmm.
So what are yours?
Do you want to hear? I'll pull it up.
For me, being around you for a long time, I think quality time would probably be your number one, but I could be wrong.
No, quality time is probably my number one.
Hey.
I feel like you being a Leo, it's acts of services too.
Back up. If you want to really be in the camera.
No, I was trying to look at the phone. Okay, so what's my number two?
I would say physical touch.
Yeah. He knows me so well. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
She's like, okay.
Am I supposed to keep going, or is it just the first two?
I could probably guess in order.
Quality time, physical touch.
Gift giving?
Is it giving or receiving? This receiving gifts.
And you can give them too.
Oh, okay.
That's what it says.
Well, gift giving, as in you're the person receiving them. So if you say my love language is,
yeah, I'm gonna say quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, and then acts of service. Probably off the top.
for sure.
Okay, you can have your mic back.
No, you can't. So we're gonna have introduce the show again. We're gonna introduce.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when it comes to read that question again, just to make sure it makes sense when I talk. Whatever you had, Raven.
Hi.
Pull the mic around the table. Yeah.
All right. Hi. Okay, so what was it? There was another thing that I wanted to.
No, go back to
the other question.
Yeah, what you had said.
So what? Oh yeah, for me, I haven't answered. What have you done to prepare yourself for the next current relationship? Sherry. Let me stop. So I don't think it's anything that I've like knowingly done, but I think in my head I'm like, okay, like I think back to past relationships and I'm like, okay, like this is the reason why like someone acted this way. So I'll try to like not try to change myself, but more so because I don't want to change my values or what I think, but more so try to improve myself to be a better person. Like be a better person in the sense, how do I explain that?
I really feel like you should. I think you should change some things.
Like,
right?
yeah, like I don't want, like if something wasn't working for me personally, then I would want to, I would want to try something different. Like I am doing, like what I am doing now, like trying to be patient. It's simple things, but like try to, like whereas I would be so emotionally like invested into like a friendship, even with the friendship, I was so emotionally invested with a friendship, like pouring my cup into their, like just keep pouring my cup into them and not it being reciprocated. And that's kind of like part of my love language too. Like I need that valid, like from friends and stuff like that. I need the words of affirmations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So kind of cutting off what I needed in that relationship for other people instead of like actually like addressing it with that other person, be like, okay, like this is actually what I kind of need in the relationship, from like for myself, or I don't even know if I'm explaining that right. I don't want to be like
I think that validation is very important.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But like that's kind of what I was trying to explain to him, like when we were having that thing. But then I realized like I had to think about why I was needing that validation.
And do you see like from your perspective, like how conversations with men kind of lose value when a woman is saying like, yo, like this ain't it, but the guy is giving you everything you're actually looking for?
Yeah. That's why I was like, oh my God, like that's why I was talking to myself in there. And I was like, Raven, like you're talking, like you literally have been talking about having faith in things, right? Just having faith and trusting in the process. But like you're trying to interfere with you're trying to interfere. And I was like, oh, like just kicking myself like in the head, like stop trying to interfere with things when things are like happen. It will happen in its own time. I'm literally trying to rush him. Like in my own way, that's what I was doing. I'm like, why do I need validation? Why do I need to know? Like if it happens, it happens. If it's meant to be, it will be. You know what I mean? Like actually like listening to those things in my head. Like, why am I trying to rush this? Like, why am I really trying to rush this? Because, and then I thought about it. I'm like, maybe because I'm not truly healed from a lot of things in the past. And I need to actually like take some time to work on those things. Like he's actually taking those times and stuff like that to work on his self. So Raven, like, why are you trying to rush things into that? Because I'm so eager to not deal with those emotional traumas, the pain and stuff, and actually work through that with my inner self, like work through that and be like, okay, like, well, this is why I need validation, because in past relationships, I never got those words of affirmation. I never got this. I never got what I needed. But I also never told that person what I needed. Or if I did tell that person what I needed, I always got cut off, But when this person is actually giving me what I need, like I'm just trying to rush into things to like lock it so that I wouldn't be lonely or anything like that. And I also like realized like I need to be okay with being alone as well. Like I need to be okay with myself. And it's okay to like say those things. Like it's okay to be like have these conversations with yourself. It's okay to like be alone with yourself and have those private parties. I don't know if y'all know this song, N.E.R.E. It's called Private Parties. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. But in the song, she basically talks about like she was in a relationship and like, and the person was like, I'm busy, like just call me back, and she was like, oh, she just felt so alone. But then she realized like this is good for her to have these like emotional connections with herself and really dig deep. And like, I don't know if men do this, but like women really do this. I don't know if women do this either, but Raven does this. But like actually have these conversations with herself and like actually enjoy herself. It's called self-love,
I push back on that.
What?
Because the being alone thing, right? Mm-hmm. I think human beings are meant to be around people.
Yeah.
to truly succeed. And I think that there's a notion, especially within our community, is alone time, like treat yourself, do this, do that. Self-care is the care, like all this stuff, which it is, right? But you can't justify not having something by just saying self-care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I get what you're saying. But for me, I think it's more so along of like I've always kind of depended on other people's to get me through things.
Okay.
Like, does that make more sense?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
So I've always depended, like for my friends, like I always depended on like, because I was too afraid to actually face what I needed to face.
Absolutely.
From past trauma. So maybe it's my self-care. I don't know about what y'all self-care is, listeners, but this is my self-care. I literally take some time to myself, and it's not like he's not talking to me, but I do talk. We do exchange texts and stuff like that. But I actually I'll be like, hey, if I don't text you in a minute, it's because I'm meditating or like I'm praying or I'm reading or something like that. He's like, okay, no big deal. So I actually I'll meditate on things that I'm thinking about, like that are bothering me. I'm just like, okay, like I'll release things. Or I'll ask for the things that I want to see in my life, or I'll pray for like the people that are I'll just pray for I'll pray for my friends or pray for my enemies. That's my version of self-care. Or I'll read onto things like, okay, Raven, like why are you or I'll think about like past trauma, like how I need to handle it, like those conversations with myself in the mirror. I was like, oh! Like looking like a crazy person. So that's kind of like my self-care. I'll take a bath to calm myself. And then whereas my self-care hasn't always been like this. And I want y'all to know that. So my old self-care was, I'm going to take myself out to a restaurant because if he can't do it, I know I can do it. So that was my my past self-care routine. And I would just be doing stuff for myself, be like, which is nothing wrong with that. Trust me. There's nothing wrong with that. But now my self-care is more in depth where it's actually dealing with the pain.
You're addressing the things.
I'm addressing the things because I want to heal. Like I so badly want to heal and I want to do better. I want to, like I said before, I want to be a better daughter. I want to be a better friend. Want to be a better, significant other to whoever I end up with. It may not even be him. He might be the person that just helps me get through that, even though I would want it to be him, But wink, wink, But I'm just saying, it may not, we never know what's going to happen, but we never know what's going to happen tomorrow, So just worrying about what I can today. So, and these are the things that I can work on today and getting through those situations and trying to understand other people, how they communicate. But yeah, that's kind of how my self-care has changed. Yes, I do still take myself out to eat, but now it's more so of okay, I'm going to eat and I'm going to read this book. I'm going to read this book about, past trauma and getting over that past trauma. So it's more like things like that. Incorporate.
My thing, I'm perfectly fine with people having self-care. Let me make that clear. I just don't like people who say that if you don't want to do that, you're not treating yourself. I'm never going to a restaurant eating by myself. I'm never going to the movies and watching a movie by myself. I'm never doing that. That doesn't mean I don't practice self-care.
Exactly.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. So I think it's just kind of I think self-care should be...
pee. But you can keep talking.
Okay. I think self-care should be more so along the lines of, yes, you can do those, doing whatever you want to do that you feel comfortable with doing. Say, yes, your thing is not going out to a restaurant. It's not going out here. It's not going out there. But incorporating the in-depth conversations with yourself to heal yourself. So thinking about why were you feeling those emotions? And I know it's kind of probably crazy, but he allowed me with that conversation that we had with a validating, understanding why I needed that validation. So actually trying to, what's the word? Trying to figure out why I needed that. Why do I need that? Why do I need that validation from him? But I'm not knocking self-care. He's not knocking self-care, but yeah. But I want to kind of know, like, from our listeners, kind of what their self-care routine is, if they have one, and if they're actually taking the next step to be in depth with yourself, like having those conversations with yourself, having those private moments, or is it just someone's calling me? It's him. He must be my soulmate. Anyways, having those conversations with yourself. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but see, I make sense. But the other things that I do, like, for like my self-care, because a few of my friends actually mentioned to me, they were like, oh, I see you, like, you know, your face routine has changed, you're this, and I'm like, no, it has not changed. Like, this is what I've always been doing. I'm just kind of thinking about, like, whenever I'm in the bathtub, I'm thinking about, like, the conversations that I've had with friends. Like, recently I blocked a few friends because, not because, like, I'm just, like, petty or anything like that. Not because I'm trying to ghost them or try to give them a taste of their own medicine, which I'm not trying to do at all. But I need this time to myself, and I don't want to, like, consistently think about them. Like, I need to think about myself and, like, you know, how am I trying to improve myself as a person, instead of, like, worrying about, like, them. Like, I'm hoping that they are healing in that space as well, and using this time alone. Like, I feel like everybody needs a little bit of separation, for whether it's your best friend, whether it's your family member. You both need that separation to kind of, like, deal with the things, like, deal with the pain, deal with whatever is bothering you, so you can have clear mind. Because if you're constantly around them, you're never going to know, like, what actually is bothering you or triggering you about that person. I don't know if that makes sense. But I was just saying, like asking them. I'm not even talking to anybody, but I'm talking to y'all, because whenever y'all hear it. But, like, I want to kind of know what if they have any self-care routines. Are they actually taking those in-depth conversations, or, like, what exactly are they doing? And if they're not, then, like, you know, what are you doing to actually, like, deal with that trauma, or if there's any trauma, or having those conversations with yourself. Does that make sense?
Maybe I had to be. I'm not sure.
Okay. Anyways, I make sense. It makes sense. You know, I do. But I was saying, like, it's okay to, like I blocked a few friends. I don't know.
Versus having the conversation with them?
Like, the way that I've seen it, the way that I see it is, in the past, like, I have always went above and beyond. Like, even if I'm not in the wrong, and majority of the time I have never been in the wrong.
That's arrogant. I'm just
No, it's not arrogant. But majority of the time I haven't been wrong, but they haven't tried to have a conversation with me, even though, like, I tried. And I actually, with this specific person that I'm speaking of, I did try to have a conversation and address it, and they didn't want to address it at the time, which time has passed. Like, time has really passed, like, really, really passed. So I blocked them, because I didn't want, I kind of wanted to, like, I just kind of stopped worrying about it and stopped trying to put energy where it's not needed. You know, if a person wants to be in your life, if they want to talk to you, they will talk to you. You know what I mean? So that's why I just kind of took it as, okay, you know, took the L. Well, not really an L for me. It's not really a loss for me. I wouldn't say it's a loss for me. It's actually a lesson for me. I'm going to say take it as an L, but L is a lesson. I took it as a lesson, and I'm learning from it that, like, you know, you can't keep, like I said, you can't keep pouring yourself into other things and other people. You're going to be drained.
Absolutely.
And, like, I'm not saying live with the expectation that you expect this person to act a certain way or do a certain thing. But in the relationship, if you've seen consistency with that same thing that they're doing, that they're draining you of, even though, like I'm taking full accountability of it, that I've allowed this to happen. So it's my fault. I allowed this to happen to myself, you know.
I wouldn't even say allowed, right? Because even the strongest people in the universe, you know, can miss signs that allude them to being in a bad situation. So I feel like I'm a strong person. I feel like I'm a very I voice my opinion at a high level, but I was caught in the trap.
Yeah.
Like I was caught in a situation once again. Like I've talked about this multiple times, but I was caught in a trap. I was caught in a situation with my last relationship that, like, no matter how strong I was, no matter what I knew, what I didn't know, I still got in that kind of like, I guess, energy towards like I gotta really make sure this person's good. Like I made sure that person was good from start to finish. And at the end of the day, like I'm the one who lost.
Exactly. So I think that's kind of how I felt with this friendship. Like I've always been the person. Like I've always been like using my love language. I've always been the person to do acts of services, giving my time, giving my energy, giving my money, giving this, giving that, I gave so much, and I'm not saying that I need anything in return because that's just the person I am. That's what I love to do, but if you're giving so much and like every time that you give and every time like even your energy every time you give your energy, but whenever you need that person, like you need that person to be there for you, like if you're going through something and they're not there, it's kind of like a hit to the heart, like dang, like and that happened multiple times. So I took the decision and I meditated on it, prayed on it, and I made the decision to block that person because I felt like I wasn't like, I felt like because they were using my kindness as a weakness.
I feel like that often.
Yeah.
And I've stopped doing that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like I move completely different than I did maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't even let people like. There's people who want to be on the podcast. I'm just like, nah. Like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Definitely fuck you. So, keep going.
But like for me, like a few months ago, this would have been hard for me. It would have like literally made me so depressed. It would have made me have anxiety. It would have made me just feel like so worthless. And so, like, he's kind of allowed me, like when you even going back to like meeting people, like not that I'm saying that I depend on him or anything like that, but I needed him to kind of give me that lesson that, take it as a learning lesson. Just take it as take it as a L, like a lesson. Forget loss, because you don't lose anything, Mm-hmm. Only thing that you can do is gain it, because you can take it as a loss and be negative with it. But I'm taking it as a lesson. So taking that L as a lesson. And like I've learned, okay, sorry. There's people that are.
Lust Studio is in the middle of 6th Street. So there's just people outside.
Yeah, exactly.
They just walk around.
Okay.
They just talk freely without knowing that we're recording. So
clearly they can see us in a window.
Clearly. Obviously. With all these lights on 6th Street, we're in the middle with the horses.
And it is Thirsty Thursday. Whoop, whoop.
Yep, it's busy, but it's crazy.
There's no alcohol in this whatsoever. It's really sweet, and I don't want any more. And QT, we are not giving you any free advertisement.
I'll give QC. What rap? QT.
Okay, QT. Anyways, their Slurpees are bombs. So
yeah, from 6th Street, we're definitely here.
La Studio.
La Studio is on 6th
Street.
Mm-hmm. We're at Crave.
Dirty 6th Street. Okay, mm-hmm. 36.
Mm-hmm. There's a horse right in front of us. It's crazy.
Yeah. And there's
someone fighting. There's some fighting going on down there.
There's a crackhead trying to do the crate challenge.
Yikes.
Oh gosh. But yeah, just take it as a lesson. And I am, and I'm not being bitter about it at all. Like if like that person needed something and they're like, hey, I'm going to be more hesitant to do that because of just the things that I've done in the past and just the results of that. And I just feel like in order for me to kind of help them and get them on the right path of healing, not to say that I'm trying to fix everybody, because I'm not. I can't fix everybody. I'm not going to play Bob the Builder anymore. But like Bob the Builder person, Bob the Builder man, no. Bob the Builder friend, no. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. But I'm not gonna keep pouring myself into that person. I'm gonna take that energy that I poured into other people, poured it more into myself. Pour it into myself and like try to heal myself and try to be better for myself. And like I still, like, honestly, even my worst enemy, I still want them to win. I still wish them the best.
No, fuck the ops.
No, you have I feel like with like, I mean, like, this is my opinion. I'm still gonna be a compassionate person. I'm not gonna change who I was. I still wish you the best, and I still want you to heal, and I still hope that you get what you're getting. But you're not gonna get that from me anymore. That's the thing, I'm always going to be encouraging and stuff like that, but you're not going to get that from me. So but as for like financial stuff and everything like that, I'm working on myself. So yeah, like, you're going to have to figure that out, because you're a grown ass person. You're going to have to figure that out. And this is not even trying to be like a bitch or anything like that, but this is more so like, I'm doing the work for myself, and as much as I'm doing this work, you should start doing the work for yourself as well, and stop worrying about stop worrying about what I'm doing. Like, stop being all in my business and worry about like your business. And that's just on some real stuff. It doesn't matter if you're family, friends, in a relationship or whatever. Like, kind of, you need to focus on yourself, because focusing on other people there's nothing good gonna come to it, especially if you're wishing bad things on people. Nothing good is going to come out for that. You're just like, bitterness is not going to get you anywhere. Misery loves company, so it's not going to get you anywhere. But if you start working on the things that, even like I've made mistakes in my life, so if I'm working on those things, there's good things that are always going to come from that if you're trying to better yourself.
Raven's Redemption Tour is crazy.
Okay, look for the book. And you know what I did? I actually, so even though you said you didn't talk to, like, did you say I didn't talk to them? Like, you didn't call them out or whatever. Anyways, how I do it is like, I put everything down in my journal. I don't write it in a journal because nobody has time for that. So I'll type it on my phone. I did buy some journals, and I was like, I'm just going to use these for like whenever I'm like, doing like releasing things out of like my, like, releasing things for myself. I'll just write things down, and I'll like tear it up, and I'll just like pray about it and like, okay, just take these things away from me. But like, I'll write in my journal, like, I've actually like wrote to this specific person that I'm talking about. I wrote to them, and like, it is probably like 3 pages of the novel, and I was like, this is all the things that I wanted to say. Like, this is the things that I would say, like, if I had the opportunity. But even then, they don't deserve to hear that. So they can hear it when I write my book.
Absolutely.
I think I'm gonna write a book, because literally I'll write poems and stuff. Like, I'm like, and I even told like the guy that I'm like, we're dating. We're dating. I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna say we're dating, because that's how I feel we are. So, or courtship. We're courting. So I even told him, like, I was like, oh, I'm working on your chapter too. He was like, what? I was like, it's gonna be the final chapter. He goes, oh, okay. He says, laughing, like, we just joke around like with each other like that. He started laughing, but yeah, I just think I just rambled for 100 so minutes, but it all made sense to me in my head.
Anything that's important to you will make sense to you. Anytime I have a conversation with a person, well, actually, I'll say this. A lot of times people don't want to have the conversation with me because they know I'm going to just be honest. And I'm not perfect by any means. I never want people to think that, or even to have that notion about me. Like, I'm not perfect. Everything I've done has been draped in bullshit.
Yeah.
Everything I've done has been draped in bullshit. So, if you're able to like speak freely about your situation and things like that, it's always a great measure of just growth. Growth is very important. I could even equate it to the podcast, right? There's so many different like facets, and you've seen a lot of it. You've seen a lot of different like setups and just overall just Success.
No, first time the table's over there, we over here with the counter, which I actually did like the counter thing, but I also like the back, like, you know, on 6th Street with the studio. You never know.
It's just it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of thought process, right?
Yes.
Like, but for me and people who ever have conversations with me, they should understand. Like, I don't put the pressure on them. I don't put pressure on people. You know, I can create, I can figure things out, but if you're willing to ride, then get on the truck and let's go. You know what I mean?
Beep, beep.
The podcast is always changing. There's always things changing. Like, it's consistently changing. I know we're at episode 22, but it's really episode 58. Like, like there's just been so many different iterations of this podcast.
But one thing that doesn't change is establishing good roots. So I was really thinking, when you were like growth, I was really thinking about something. That's why I wrote it down. That's what I was doing. I was writing it down. So, like with a flower, right? You have a flower. Is it ever gonna like
blossom
if you don't water the roots? Mm-hmm. You have to keep pouring into those
Talking
roots.
to the mic, lady.
Sorry, you have to keep. I should know this right now, right? You have to keep pouring into the roots. Mm-hmm. To make it strong, to make it blossom. And then that's kind of what we do. Like, even though we are consistently growing, right? Mm-hmm. We still have I feel like we still have a firm, even like with like housing and stuff like that, like building a house, like having a firm foundation. Like that just clicked to me right in my head, right?
Would you say the foundation is me?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I feel like my face. Did you see my face? I was like, no, I think yes, I think it definitely has a lot to do with you, but it also has a lot to do with, you know, the willingness of like having your team. You know what I mean? The willingness, like, you know, I mean, you know, we don't have to be here. You know, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do that. But like, we all come together because of this common purpose, this common goal to
Absolutely.
Grow. So, and it has a lot to do with you too, because we wouldn't be here if you didn't start this wonderful, you know, podcast to become what it is today. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you're one of our strong foundation, and you keep us, and you actually keep us going. You, like, I don't even know if you know this, like, you keep us motivated, you keep us going, and you know, what's the word I'm trying to say? Yeah, you keep us going and motivate us, but you also give us that leeway to be who we are. And that has a lot to do with it, because if I felt constricted and like I would feel like man, I don't want to be here. If I kept feeling like I can't be myself, or like if I can't like speak my mind, it would just make me just go crazy, you know? So you allow us to have that room to grow individually and grow as a team. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And let me ask this, Raven.
Yeah. I don't know what the dance was. We can cut it.
Let me ask this. I know that we hit a transition point mm-hmm. within me and you. Mm-hmm. About, you know, and Brittany. Brittany is a huge part of this mm-hmm. podcast at this point. But I think we had a conversation or something that you felt wasn't being reciprocated at that time. As far as adding her, because, you know, originally I really just mm-hmm. thought, like, in my mind, like, I knew what was best for the podcast, and I've learned since to consult you and consult her and things like that. But as far as the podcast setup goes, like, what was your biggest concerns originally? Because a lot mm-hmm. of people don't know this, and I'm gonna say it. You know, of course, you know, we'll talk to Brittany and things like that. But like, originally, you weren't on board with me making the decision mm-hmm. to add Brittany to the podcast. And
it wasn't anything, it had nothing to do with, I want to say this, it had nothing to
Absolutely
do with Brittany. She's a great person, love her to death. But I just felt like, I think I felt some type of way because you didn't ask me, so I didn't feel like I was actually a co-host. Mm-hmm. Instead, I just felt like I was a worker or so, like, mm-hmm. like I didn't have any say. and like that hurt my feelings. I was like, what? Like you didn't not that you need any validation of who to add, because everything that you do, I stand behind you 100%. I really do. And that's why at first, like, I was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna say anything. But it was bothering me enough that I was like, wait a minute, I need to let him know like how I feel about the podcast and like my place in the podcast. That's kind of what I was like, what is my place? It kind of made me confused. Like, if we're supposed to be a team, then like, why wouldn't you address something like this with me first? Because that is a big change, you know. Mm-hmm. And then like you did explain to me why, like, you had to make the fast decision and stuff like that, and I totally understood that. But like, I don't even know if people knew it. I was ready to walk away because he didn't give me that validation. He didn't give me that. Like, he didn't give me that, and I felt some type of way. I was just like, I really did think about it. Like, I asked, like, whenever I think about things, like, I ask several people around me as I'm venting, even though I already know the answer. I'm like, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Even though I already know the answer, what I want to do. So I decided to go to you. Like, I spent like probably like an hour like typing it out. I'm just like,
I was about to run a mile. Actually, me and Robin were about to run a mile. And then like we started, and I was like, hold up. I looked at my phone. I was like, yikes! What the fuck's going on? And it was on a Thursday.
I know. I was just like, I was like, why wouldn't he like address that? It just came out of nowhere. So I don't think, and it was not a personal attack against me or anything like that. But like, as we're moving forward in this podcast, as we're growing, you know, this is a team. And like, just like if I wanted to change something with like the podcast or anything like that, like, I would want to address it with not only Calvin, but I also want to address it with Brittany, because this is, yes, you did start the podcast and I'm incredibly thankful. But now that we are this unit, that we are this podcast family, that we are this team, we also have to work together and listen to each other's ideas. And that was the main thing. Like he didn't even like think that was my opinion, because guess what my opinion would have been?
Yes.
I think it's great, you know, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm always open to it. Like, I think she was like a wonderful addition, you know. And I just wanted to be included. I know that's kind of corny, but I wanted to be included.
Yeah, absolutely.
Include me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that within this process, I've learned to kind of accommodate each of y'all at the highest level I can.
Yeah.
With me, I was always thinking so far ahead that I wasn't thinking about the logistics about it.
Yeah.
For moments like this, like, you know, Brittany's out, she has to work, right? So podcast still has to happen.
It still has to go on. The show must go on.
You are incapacitated due to an accident. Podcast still has to keep going.
The what if? what if we didn't what if we didn't have Brittany?
Exactly.
Like we would still have to be sitting there figuring out that this virtual shit is so fucking just annoying and hard. And I'm not even doing anything, just sitting there waiting for the microphone to receive. But like, there's so much goes on in the back end that he has to do in order for us to like the virtual thing to work. Absolutely. So the fact that Brittany came in the right nick of time, man, you don't even know how much of a big blessing that is. And she is a blessing. She's probably going to be listening to this too. Like you are such a big blessing and such a big part of this show. Like it just completes everything that we needed to complete about it, because I did feel like you know, towards the like before we added Brittany, I did feel like, you know, we do need something, like we need something that's gonna like, you know. And then, you know, like after we had that conversation and then like a couple of episodes and stuff like that, I'm just like, you know, this is kind of what we needed to be complete.
Absolutely. For me, like I'm always thinking so far ahead, and a lot of people that I deal with don't really see that yet.
Yeah.
Because I deal in absolutes and I deal in the future. That's my whole motto. Like I deal in absolutes. So if it's not absolutely a thing, I don't want to fuck with it. And if it's not something that can grow, or it's not something that's going to be in the future, I don't want to deal with it. So, you know, Aunt Brittany was very important for me. Like, because I understood her commitment and what her strengths are. Her strengths are conversation. Conversation is something Brittany wants to have. Brittany wants to talk. I learned that very early. The first time I think I ever had a conversation with Brittany was at a party. And she's probably lit. you know. But my whole mindset was just like, wait till the podcast. Just go on the pod. Brittany was a part of some pilots as well. We did some video pilots. We did some mic check. We did some mic experiments and things like that. Like she's very much so a part of this at a high level. And you know, when you had your concerns at that time, it was concerning to me. But like I just wanted to make sure that you understood. Like I would never just have added anybody just to add it.
You know what? Like I said, it wasn't even that. It was more so with me. Like I'm just like, why you tell me? Like I just wanted to feel included. It was more of me feeling included, like with that decision, because I wanted, like I at that time I already felt like I was a big part of the show. Absolutely. So like that was a setback for me, because I'm just like, am I really, like I'm questioning, like am I really a part of the show? Like what am I, even though I'm a co-host, what am I? It was questioning my, like more so questioning my role on the podcast. So, but it was a good decision. So, and I already knew that it was, like in my head I already knew it was a good decision. I just wanted you to address it with me. I wanted to feel included. I am so like even though I come across as strong, I am so sensitive. I would cry on anything. I would cry on the spot. Okay, I should have been an actress. Like literally, I can cry on the spot.
Absolutely, it's.
I will have a tear right now.
This podcast don't play with me. This podcast is a lot.
Yeah.
Things happen day in, day out. You know, once again, it's very important for me to make sure that we were all on the same page at some point. Just because, like, you just never know. Like, my stress level never heightens more than when one of you are like, can't make it. And I'm just like, no problem. But in my mind, I'm like, shit, I had so much shit that I wanted to do today. Yeah. And my mind is like on 10 right now. But the reason I wanted to take it to a 3-person kind of podcast, not only was I ready for that conversation with 2 women versus 1 guy, and we always see 1 guy, or 2 guys and 1 woman. Like, we see that all the time.
I feel like I'm the mediator between y'all two.
That's what I didn't want you to be. I think
But that's just how I am. Like, I mean, I'm gonna have my opinion regardless, and I'm gonna speak my opinion. But I
don't want it to even be like that because of the conversation that we had.
Yeah,
I think episode 12. I was just like,
no, I don't even. I shouldn't say mediator, but like how I am with my opinion. I'm not gonna say mediator. Let me take that away.
Yeah, take that away.
Rewind. But like y'all both have strong opinions, and how I see it in my head. Raven sees it in my head. Oh, I see it from her point of view. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see it from his point of view. But there could be this, if this, this, and this. Like I'm just already like concocting different things from different points of views. So no, I'm not the mediator, but I'm like I feel like I'm kind of like a common ground of like I can.
You should just look at it as you have your own opinion.
I do, and that's my own opinion. Like I see it from both sides. That's how I am in every relationship. Whether it's like I can see it from somebody's point of view. Like if we're talking about something and like you disagree with me on something, like the sky is blue, and I'm just like, no, it's clearly brown. But I'm like, you know what? I can see how it would be blue in certain situations. Yeah. But as for my opinion, it is brown because of this, and this. But I can totally see how you can see it. And I guess that's kind of me respecting y'all opinions, even though I have my own opinion.
Yeah.
But I still respect you guys. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I don't think you remember how green you were as far as like the conversation went originally. Like when she first got on, like you was like in the background. And I was like, Raven, just speak. Just be yourself. You have to go back to probably episode 1, 2, and 3.
I don't know. Y'all were talking about soccer and sports. And I'm just like, I like fashion.
You should use that as well. You should definitely use that as well. Yeah.
But no, I just like, sometimes if not even sometimes, like I remember one episode y'all were talking about like soccer and basketball, and I'm just like, I don't even know what a score point is. It a touchdown?
Yikes!
I'm just kidding. I know it's a goalie or something like that.
Not a goalie. She said it's a goalie. Okay. She was so
see where I come from? Y'all see what I mean with soccer? Okay, y'all see what I mean? Okay, I'm barely learning about the game about football. Okay, the blue 42 hut thingy that they do is to get down to the other side of the court. Not the court.
The field?
The field.
Yikes, let's go. We're going to cut it off now.
See? This is why, like, I was like,
Episode 22 has been crazy, y'all. Like
I don't know about
it's been up and down.
I'm feeling 22. You can't even.
I don't even know who that is.
That is Taylor Swift.
Was that the court?
Taylor Swift.
Was that the court or the field?
T Swift. That was the
Because I don't know. I don't. Do they perform on courts or fields? I have no idea.
What? Wait, it's a team?
I don't know.
Confused.
You said Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift is a musician, okay?
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
She started off country, now
courts.
she's pop, and she's now like...
Miley Cyrus.
I don't know. Miley Cyrus.
Georgetown.
That is just...
Yeah.
Wait. I'm going to do a quote.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely for sure. So,
in other news, if you do have an OnlyFans, and not to say that I do have an OnlyFans, but if you might go to...
You have an OnlyFans.
If for the sake of this podcast,
you have an OnlyFans.
If I have parents, I do not have an OnlyFans. But if you do want to go to my OnlyFans, www.onlyfans.com/RavenBlackbird. Anyways, that's RAVIN. Okay, just kidding.
Grab the camera. Not that camera. The other camera. You gonna take pictures?
Okay.
Of this?
Let me see. Let me find a good one. I don't know what that was. Don't ever. What?
Are those my ass clappers? The batteries on the wall with the stuff, and there should be some SD cards in the box.
I feel like this is a good one.
Hold on, don't say it yet. We're definitely like figuring it out, but have a quote for sure.
Let me text.
I like the episodes that don't make sense.
Me too. Like this, it'd be our best episode somehow and our best ratings, right? Because they're probably
we've had an influx of Wednesday might have been the biggest influx of views via streams that we've received since the start. So Courtney's episode is still the most
views,
but Marissa's is right behind her.
Marissa, who's that?
You weren't here, but
the House
Fashion.
of Noel. Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Her episode is the second most streamed episode that we've received. They're not in the box. Oh, they're in the shit. They're actually in this box over here. They're in the box in the chair. You gonna scoop past it. In the chair, the black chair.
Okay, I started this gangster shit. This motherfucking thing is like it. Okay, I wanted to sing that. It's in my head. Whenever I have things in my head, I have to sing it.
Grab one that's 64. How many photos? How many does it have? Enough?
I like that one better. Way better.
Tilt the coin.
I know.
I know. Not me. I don't want to be on camera. I don't like being on camera.
What?
What?
You don't like being on camera, but yet you're on camera.
Is that weird?
No. I don't like food, but yet I still eat it. I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
That was a lie. I was trying to make fat chocolate and it did.
So we're basically closing out at this point. Like,
right.
I think people don't understand what a podcast looks like. I think people think that we're so polished and we're just
I am
always on the go.
This is polished. If you haven't seen anything Elsa is polished. I don't care if my hair is sticking up. I'm polished. Okay. I'm gonna get this napkin out the way.
Not the napkin out the way. Oh, you made it. Good job.
Hello. I mean, I do know one thing about basketball. I was the
One thing about basketball?
I was the wingman.
What's on the court?
Yeah, basketball's on the court. It has 5 players.
Oh, yeah?
But when it comes to the soccer on the court,
The soccer?
I got a headache.
All right, let's
Cheers.
this is all going to be in the podcast. I really don't care at this point.
Me either. I really don't. I honestly don't care. I mean, yeah. Do you
Yeah,
want
we
me to
have a
read it?
quote. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. I don't know who wrote this, but it doesn't
In the
have
spirit
a
of
name.
Brittany.
In the spirit of Brittany, I feel like she would pick. Okay, it would be different from my stripper quote that I did one time. But anyways, says never forget. Never forget how far you've come. Everything you have gotten through, all the times you have pushed on even when you felt you couldn't. All the mornings you got out of bed no matter how hard it was, all the times you wanted to give up. But you got through another day. Never forget how much strength you have learned and developed. So keep pushing and never forget. Never forget it's okay to you know, reminisce the past and think about those memories of how far you got, like how far you came. But just don't dwell on that and just never forget. Right?
All right, sounds fine.
Hey.
This is the Can We Talk podcast. This is episode number 22.
22.
Okay, episode 22. Yeah, we're excited that you guys have watched, and it's about time we get out of here.
Oh wait, can I tell them about the new link?
Sure.
Okay, so if you are a new listener and you're trying to figure out how to find us, because I know there's a lot of like Can We Talk podcasts and stuff like that. Because when I was looking at it, okay. Anyways, if you're trying to figure us out, it's on our Instagram page, but you can go to Linktrees, which is linktr.ee/TCWT podcast. And it'll take you to all of our links of where we are streaming. I mean, there's more streams like in other countries and stuff like that. So if you are an international,
Nigeria, Canada,
if you're an international
Australia.
listener, you just go to like your main, like, I don't even know where you would go because
I have no idea where you guys would go. I don't know how you guys find us in the first place, but hey,
but YouTube and like I think Spotify and Apple are kind of like international and iHeartRadio. So all the links are there. Even our socials on there, like our Facebook and Instagram is on there. So definitely go give us a follow, give us a like, share your thoughts on there. It's not only it's a platform for us, it's a platform for you guys to express like things that y'all are feeling or whatever. Don't load us with a lot of things. I'm just kidding. You can do that, but I'll read it. But yeah, it was nice having y'all listen to us again. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.
All right, guys. Good night. Thank you for listening. We're out of here. Episode 22.
Bye.
It was fire. Bye.
And cut.
Not and cut.